Blessings. Welcome back to another astrological analysis here in 5D Mystery School. Today, we're going to be looking at some cardinal changes. I pulled up a few charts just to see what Saturn and Neptune are up to. Okay, because right now, Neptune is interfering Saturn's transit. So, this is a pivotal time. Okay. And Neptune stays in a sign for 14 years. So this is going to be a 14-year cycle that these cardinal changes are going into. And for Saturn, it's a 3-year cycle. Okay. So the first chart that before I even get started, please go ahead and like this video, share this video, leave a comment. Y'all, that truly helps the channel, and I'm very grateful. Keep that in mind for every video. Okay. So, I'm not going to be long-winded here. Just going to, this is a freestyle, by the way, like most of these astrological analysis. I don't have anything written down. So here we go off the cuff. All right. So with Rihanna, first thing, I'll just say a few things about her first house. Oh, she's a Capricorn stellium. That makes a lot of sense. Capricorn stelliums are, I'm looking at her 10th house. Capricorn stelliums are, them becoming successful is inevitable because they believe in working hard towards what they want to do. And since Capricorn is in her 10th house, which is your public image, she's not done. She's going to go a lot further. She has Uranus at the 0 degree, Saturn at the 0 degree. Potent, potent. But let's not get into that right now. So the first house has to deal with your physical self, your body. Okay. She has a few other things, your attitude, your mode of operation, your willpower, your understanding of yourself first before you go out into the world. It's the first house of the first quadrant. It's the I am energy, the incarnate energy. Okay. So this, whenever you go through like a first house perfection year, whenever you're having major transits to your first, it really does pull you back in and have you focus on yourself. Okay. So with Rihanna, she's going through her Venus return, right? So whenever you're going through your Venus return, people just find you more attractive. She's already very attractive because she has Venus at the 12th degree. Whenever you see somebody with Venus in their first house, they have looks, like that's what they're blessed with. She also has the moon in her first house, so she's very moody, right? She's emotional, and she's thought about being a mother for a very long time. Like since she was a child, she's always wanted to be a mom. She's always had this yearning to find like her soulmate, her twin flame, like her, because she has Juno in her first house as well. All right. Whenever you have Juno conjunct Venus, even if it's not something that she'll voice, she's been looking for her other half for all her damn life. And this, I mean, not just in this life, but in past lives, because your first house, your incarnate energy, this is like residue from your past life as well. Okay. It's a bit different from like your South Node, but yeah. So when she does, I mean, it was whenever she felt like, okay, this is my person, she's going all in, like she's having those babies, as you can see right now. I don't know if I already said this, but with Jupiter in her first house, that's why she has a big head, like a big forehead. I'm not making fun of it. That's just like anybody with Jupiter in her first house, they will have like okay, they can beat you down. So with Neptune entering into her first house, this could bring her back onto the music scene. This can definitely bring her back into the music scene. This will bring her mental health front and center. Like she will start going through these first her dreams will intensify for sure. She will start, I wouldn't be surprised if she was interested in doing some type of deep ritualistic spiritual practice, like going to study somewhere for a while. When Saturn is here in your first house as well, it does bring in an air of just being like disciplined. You will also feel like things start to go hard for you. Like you have to start doing things the hard way, you know? So with Saturn being intercepted or being interfered with by Neptune, it could bring on this air of grand illusion, you know, believing that she can, she might bite off more than she can chew. Okay, especially with her body, like pushing her body to the limits, thinking that she can handle certain things physically, but that's not the case because Saturn will bring in like it's not Saturn is not the same as Jupiter because when Jupiter is with Neptune, you would just be extremely optimistic and start taking on things that you can't do, but you're like, fuck it, I'll figure out a way. But with Saturn here, it does call you to be a little bit more disciplined, but you will start to be like, you will start to think that you're too disciplined. Like, you know what? No, I can do that. Like, I'll figure out a way. You know what I'm saying? And you might bite off more than you can chew. You might, and this is directly tied to your public image, right? So she could people might start to become a little bit more confused about like the messages that she's putting out. Neptune also implies divorce, separation, you know, not saying that this is going to happen to her because it's not in her seventh house, but it is opposing her seventh house. So there will be some trials and tribulations that she will face in her relationship for sure. She will start to have some prophetic dreams because Neptune is going to be hovering over her moon. So this will bring in a window of mediumship, like talking to her past loved ones, like even seeing her, she will inevitably have a dream with the lineage of woman that she come from. Seeing her, I'm not sure if her mom's still here, but if her mom's not still here, seeing her mom in her dreams, seeing her grandma in her dreams, like that line of woman that she come from, she will start to see them in her dreams for sure. Now, also, she will start to be a bit confused just about like her body, like trying different uh, fashion styles, different dressing styles. Like you might see her wearing baggy clothes one day, being a girly girl the other day, like not really staying consistent with how she dresses or how she goes about representing herself in the public eye. Okay. I wouldn't be surprised if she also changed homes, moved somewhere by the water. Okay. Now, this is for all Aries risings, but this is specifically for Rihanna because of the placements that she has in her first house. Okay. In modern times, she's considered a Aries stellium. She's also a Capricorn stellium. Okay. So being an Aries stellium, this is somebody who, where there is a will, there is a way. And with the sun in her 12th house, she may have felt like her childhood, like she just had it harder than other people. Like she had to be self-sufficient. So the self-sufficiency that she was able to establish as a child, by the way, her since her sun is in the 12th house in Pisces, her dreams are always been off the chain. Like having prophetic dreams, like just being involved with dreams, talking about dreams, like that's not new to her at all, you know? What else? What else? So, like I said, Saturn's going to bring in an air of discipline where you might see her lose a lot of weight. Whenever you have Saturn transiting your first house, you could start to lose a lot of weight for sure. So after she has, if she's pregnant again, if she's having another child, you will see her lose a lot of weight. Now, this is Michael Jordan. He's going to have Neptune and Saturn transiting his 10th house. Okay. Now, whenever you have Neptune transiting your 10th house, immediately it's going to be this like separation from, it could be like fan base, it can be just with your public image that you have established. Like there will be an event that happens specifically with Michael Jordan that is going to be involved with his ego because he has Priapus here at the 0 degree. So he's going to think that his package is really big. Like he's going to grow an extra pair. He's going to make some very bold statements in the public eye. All right, some very bold statements that could cause people to be a little bit confused about where he stands. Okay, you can also you might hear something about his father in a public eye. This will be intuitively, I'm getting something with his shoe brand. Like there is going to be an event that happens that really makes people start to look at why they're spending money on Jordans in the first place. So this is could be a rebranding for Michael Jordan. When I'm looking this way, this I'm just listening to um, my cosmic guidance. A rebranding for sure, like a late rebranding for Michael Jordan. This is going to be directly connected to his legacy. People will probably start talking about why are we donating money to Michael Jordan when his legacy is going to be in the hands of, and insert whatever your comment is. This is going to be particularly true for um, like the Black community because it's been said that Saturn rules over melanated people, the Black community. Okay, so it's going to be this, I won't say divorce from the Black community, but a lot of his statements are going to put him underneath the microscope and it's going to force him to rebrand himself. Okay. He also has Chiron transiting this 10, further emphasizing this point. All right. Yeah, and he has Ceres here as well. So definitely um it's gonna be he's gonna be put in a situation where he think that he's gonna be delivering tough love, but what he says might backfire on him. Oh, I gotta sneeze. 1 second. Another thing about this, mm, oh, what's that? Is that branding? Does that say Astro Herbs? Like myastroherbs.com on my water bottle that you can go and check out herbal supplements. Anyway, um, he could have some type of mental breakdown in a public eye. I'm not saying this is going to happen immediately, but if he is still alive and what year is this? 2025. So if he's still alive in 2039. Between now and 2039, yeah, he would definitely have a mental breakdown in a public eye, for sure. If I was reading his chart and I was taking a look at all his transits, I can pinpoint it. But since this is like a general reading, I'll just say between now and 2039. Okay. I'm not looking for death. I'm not looking for anything like that. But I will say Neptune represents death. Neptune is transiting his 10th house. So is Michael Jordan still going to be with us by 2039? I don't believe he will be. I'm just like I said, I'm not looking for it. I'm just basing off of what I'm reading. So, but if when you look at somebody's natal chart, you can for sure see ways that they might leave their physical body. Okay. Now, Denzel Washington. Denzel has Aries in his seventh house. The cardinal houses, by the way, are going to be the first, the fourth, the seventh, and the 10th. Whenever you have major transits happening to these houses, you're going to go through major life changes. The winds of your life are going to start to change. Like these are the cardinal directions. These are the cardinal winds of your life, the cardinal winds of your chi, right? Just in the same way you have inner prana, you have life prana. So when you have transits happening in these houses, your energetic prana changes as within, so without. Okay. So in his seventh house for Denzel Washington, 1954, it's gonna be 72. No, it's gonna be 71 this year. Um, so I don't think this I'm gonna say I don't want this to happen for Denzel. Okay. But whenever you have Neptune transiting your seventh, it will bring up some, uh, it could bring in problems in the relationship. Okay. Being this late in life, though, honestly, being this late in life, if they stood the test of time and he's 70, he's about to be 71. So this is the first time Neptune has been in the seventh house, right? So this isn't new to him. But traditionally, for anybody that's watching that does have Aries in their seventh house, and let's say that you're married, it could bring in tests that could cause divorce because Neptune represents divorce, right? Not the same as Uranus. Uranus is more like to take away. Neptune is more like death by natural causes, things of that sort. Um, Depending on other placements. Uranus is more death by like suicide. So it's like to subtract yourself from something, right? So Neptune entering into his seventh house, you will, I wouldn't be surprised if I start to see Denzel go more behind the scenes. I wouldn't be surprised if he already, produced, but, you know, still being in films for sure, but producing, executive producing, directing, starting his own company, maybe looking for a studio, like these type of moves, I would expect Denzel to start to make, especially since Saturn is coming here as well. And so you're bringing in your legacy into the house of like contracts. So he could start to make power moves that will outlive him. Okay. In Hollywood. Right. What else do I see here? So let's see. So another thing that I would watch if I were Denzel would definitely be the health that he has surrounding his feet, his heart, in his back. He could start to have these problems, especially with his heart. So if I were Denzel, I would definitely start to take, like some hawthorn berries. I would definitely start to make sure that my cardio game is on point, with his feet as well, because these are, just some problems that could arise because the ruler of his seventh, the Lord of his seventh, is in a six at the 17th degree in a moon decan. Okay. So that's really important. And this could be hereditary, like something was that his mom dealt with. Okay. Going back to Michael Jordan real quick, the Lord of his 10th is in his second. Oh yeah, so this just further emphasizes that point. Yeah, if I was him, I would. Oh, and he's having his Mars return. His Mars is retrograde. Yeah. So if I was Michael Jordan, I would refrain from making any bold statements, especially during his Mars return, in public that could offend people and mess with your money. All right. Next, we're gonna go to Kylie Jenner. Kylie Jenner has Aries in her fourth house. So she has Neptune and Saturn entering to her fourth house. Okay. The fourth house has to deal with your home, your family, land, right? Your destiny, like your fate. This house is ruled by the IC. So here, these this could sometimes be teachers who show up, or not sometimes, but these are teachers who show up to teach you more about the lower forms of life, like how to deal with uh, transmutation of energy, shadow work, your shadow self, because it's the opposite of the midheaven, your higher self. Okay. This is your private life. So, a lot of, I won't say a lot of, but some of Kylie Jenner's private moments could be blasted online, like through the media in Hollywood. Um, but not only her, her family as well, because the fourth house is like your family. This is going to be especially true when Saturn and Neptune retrogrades back into Pisces. I would pay attention to her siblings, like her sisters, and see what happens with them. Okay. But with Kylie, so what's going to happen with her is there's going to be like this father energy that reemerges back into her life. Okay. Because that energy could have been absent, you know? There's a lot of confusion with her father figure, right? And so these themes are going to play themselves out in her life. I wouldn't even be surprised if she was to have some type of public conversation with her father about a lot of things that took place like in their life, like that type of time. This could also be like her stepping away from her family to build her own legacy. Okay? I wouldn't be surprised if she was to have a house fire, a house fire. within between now and 2028, right? So if I was Kylie Jenner, I would have, like some fire extinguishers. I would live by the water or like, have some type of just have a house that's like, I won't say fireproof, but what would you do in the case of a house fire? You know, I'm getting the word burglarized. Like she can even go through like some type of burglary in her home, like a home invasion. I'm getting large animals. She could even have like, I wouldn't be surprised if she was to add some type of large animal to her home. Lion, tiger, giraffe, something like that. Okay. With Kylie Jenner, so with her, it's no one thing I could say about her is it's no surprise that she came into a lot of money online because she has Jupiter in the second house in Aquarius. Aquarius represents the internet. Like it represents technology, represents groups of people, benefactors, a lot of stuff. But for the sakes and purposes of this video, we're just going to say it represents the internet. And so since she has Jupiter here, but Jupiter is retrograding, this gave her like a sense of, like a mission. Like she wasn't blessed with it immediately. Like she had to find her own identity and do it that way. Okay. She's not somebody that can work a traditional 9 to 5 because she has Uranus here in her second house. Whenever you have Uranus in your second house, you're not gonna work a nine. You're not gonna be like a lawyer. You're not gonna be a regular 9 to 5 person. You're going to make your money online for sure. And since hers here is at the 16th degree, part of her making money online is her mom image. Okay. Let me see what else I see here. Try not to be long-winded on these things because this ain't a full reading. Another thing about Kylie Jenner's chart is that the Lord of her fourth is in her 10th. Now, although Neptune could symbolize divorce, for her, Neptune also can bring in confusion. So this could bring in, somebody who she thinks that she is in love with and she could share a home with, right? I would sign that prenup though, because your Mars is in the 10th house of Libra, binding agreements. So she could for sure, move in with somebody, get married to somebody. It wouldn't, necessarily end well. And they could try to take her cash or paper, right? So that's something I would be aware of if I were her. Now, I do see some things here in Kylie Jenner's chart that I won't speak on, but it's tragic situations. Um, this is in her eighth house. Yeah. I would just say life is short, man. Life is short. No matter how popular you are, no matter how famous you are, your life can be taken in an instant. And it can just be with meeting the wrong person at the wrong time, bro. But even that is a soul alignment because it's part of your soul contract. So, yeah, I won't say that. Um, Life comes at you fast, and just as fast as your life can come at you, your life can be taken away from you, especially when it involves your children, somebody you thought somebody you thought you loved, emphasis on your children. But yeah, this is Aries in the fourth house. So just for a quick recap, keeping it like I said, when I do these astrological analysis videos, I know that some people that watch my channel, you wouldn't know the first thing about astrology, maybe just your sun sign. So honestly, yo, I try to keep it super basic. You see, I don't even adding the vertex might be too much, or adding pre plus might be too much, but I try to keep it super basic. Okay. So just for a quick recap, if you are Aries ascendant, okay, you have Aries going into your first house. So you can start to become interested in music. You can start to become a little bit more creative. You're going to start finding yourself just singing, you know. Um, Also, you're going to have Saturn here. So you're going to just feel, like a lot wiser, a lot older, a lot more disciplined, and you might start to lose a lot of weight. And if you have Aries in your 10th house, then this is going to bring in situations where in a public eye, you can be reprimanded, you can be disciplined, right? And it could kind of be embarrassing. It could be really confusing. It can be really polarizing, especially since this is your 10th house of your public image. So you could start to think that people are just being a little bit more strict around you, like you're running against these boundaries that are placed up by other people. Okay, people can start to view you as a little bit more artistic, might take interest on the things that you have to create. Okay, even people can start to view you as a mystic because you're going to start to shield part of that person or that part of your life. So you can start to not become a recluse, but bring on this air of mystery onto your public image, like, oh, what's this person got going on? What's happening with this person? Like you might start to become um, more interested in the spiritual side of life if you have Aries transiting your 10th house. Okay. Now, if you have Aries transiting I'm sorry, not Aries, but Neptune and Saturn. If you have Neptune and Saturn transiting your seventh house, then this can bring in, depending on your chart, separation from your partner, a divorce. This can bring in connections for you to work in the television industry, the movie industry. This could bring in older, wise people to your friend groups because Saturn's here. So people bringing in wisdom, telling you things about how to um, boost your legacy. Like this could also bring in the immediate focus on anything that connects you to another person more than just a verbal agreement. So this could bring in test through the form of contracts, meaning that you could, let's say, what's a good example here? Um, let's say a gym membership, super, super basic, because Aries is more like physicality. And if it's the seventh house, if you're going to sign like a gym membership, read the fine print because you could get caught up in thinking that, oh, it's for like a month membership, but you just signed up for a year. So if you have Neptune and Saturn going into your seventh house, read the fine print. Also, if you have anything like your will, uh, your child's like college fund, uh, anything that has to do with like you leaving something behind for your children, that is also going to come into question here when Neptune and the Saturn is transiting your seventh house. Okay, so if you're not feeling well, if you're feeling like, oh, I'm not gonna make it, if you're at the end of your life, then I would definitely make sure that your will is in order, depending on how old you are or how your health is. And also make sure you look at the ruler of your seventh because that's going to paint a better picture on, you know, what situations you're going to be dealing with. If you have Aries in your fourth house, then this is going to bring in, if you're younger, discipline in your household. Maybe your parents start to be a little bit more strict. Maybe you start to become a little bit more interested at looking at vintage homes, like, oh, I want a home that was built in the 80s. You can start to paint at home. You can start to build altars at home. You might even start to dive into, some psychedelics at home, you know, growing, uh, growing your own marijuana, that type of thing. Uh, Maybe be a little bit more secretive about where you live, not really feeling comfortable telling people like where you live. If somebody wants your address, you might really double down and on asking them, why do you want to know where I live? So being a little bit more mysterious about where you live, even adding a gym to your home. If you have Aries in your fourth house, this is something that you've already thought about anyway, right? But the thing here, though, with Neptune is you have to be very careful, all right? Because you might want to add like a gym to your home. You might want to start a new project on your home. Oh, I want to redo my whole roof, or I want to add a pool. Or Saturn is like, how we gonna pay for this? Saturn's like, but do you really need it? Right. So Neptune is like la 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 la, but Saturn comes and reinforces that I'm just gonna pay attention. Are you going to, you know, uh, be disciplined, or are you going to be careless? Not saying that Neptune is careless, but Neptune is so beyond the physical world because it's the third house of the fourth quadrant that it's out of here. It's not like air out of here. It's like I'm everywhere all at once at the same time because it's water. It's the ocean. Like it's water's in the air, water's in the ocean, water's everywhere. So is Pisces. Okay. Another thing here, if you have Aries in your fourth house, is like I said, like don't go playing with matches in the living room because you could have a house fire, right? Don't just go inviting anybody to your home. Saturn's going to make sure you don't do that because Saturn is the natural ruler over Aquarius. So you're naturally probably going to want to invite people to your home, but at the same time, you're going to want to be mysterious about your home. So it's going to be like this pull where more people are going to want to come to your home because it's Saturn, but you're going to be like, why? Because of the Neptune. So expect this expect this dichotomy of choices to happen when you have Neptune and Saturn transiting your fourth house. I'm like losing my voice. Um, okay, so I think I'm just gonna end there for now. If you like this video, if my energy seems down, it is what it is. I feel great. Just, life is lifing. So, like this video. share this video, subscribe to the channel because you really will help the channel out. And make sure you hit the notification bell so that you can stay updated on all future videos. Okay. Let me go back. When I say life is life, I don't mean like in a bad way. I just mean like in a very mysterious way. You ever go through like auspicious things, like things are about to change and you're just trying to be focused and aware on what those things are. So I'm not going through anything bad at all. I'm actually having like a great time in life, but you know, things are happening. All right. So I will see you all in the next video. 5D Mr. School. I'm out.